Cocaine in my nose,
Well, good evening, everybody. It's a pleasure to be back. George Morgan here at your service. It's PSGL. It's Wednesday night. It's Spain tonight as well. Lots on the table, lots of battling. The title contest is still alive and kicking. And Jack, it's only taken us 10 rounds. We're on the 11th. It's all to play for.
Boromant goes on the inside and takes the lead on the final lap of the race. Now it's side by side between Boromant and Warner, but Boromant's got the inside.
Star here in this phenomenal race. Cameron Dowd looking to take P2 in his very first PSGL F1 PC race. Incredible to say the least. You see that Putin still lead. 1.5 seconds. DRS is the name.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and of course, welcome to this week of PSGL. As you can see by the lovely background I've got here, I'm in Miami. As you can see over on my right-hand side, we've got everyone's favourite Discord moderator, the one and only Alex Heron, otherwise known as Deathlink10. You still need to rebrand yourself, mate. That's a disgusting tag to have.
Yeah, it's demonetized us a few times.
Yeah,
that's not even a joke.
I've just realised I've said it, so it's probably demonetized this as well.
Yeah, already demonetized.
Right,
apparently the word death demonetized.
Re-roll the stream. Re-roll.
Yeah,
cut it back.
we're not live.
Cut it back.
We're not live.
It's fine.
Wait. Oh, we're live, pal. We're live.
Oh dear,
anyway.
That's not worked out great, has it?
No, not great. Not fantastically, mate.
Miami, place of beauty, intrigue, certain Grand Theft Auto games, allegedly, Vice City, same thing. I was very, very tempted to try and grab a screen grab from the trailer, and I thought maybe it's a better idea to get a beautiful set here. The camera tracks, but there's a bunch of restaurants behind me which are lovely. Look very pretty. Similar to us at the minute. I mean, other than Fedora. I mean, we've got the shades, we've got the looks. And I'll tell you what, I'll be looking to try and see who gets a poll, because we do have a poll in the chat for the poll. And I was kind of stuck between picking, because YouTube polls only have 4 options. So you got Lillian, Camille, Kai Pearson, or an other. So if it is other, let us know in the chat who you think it is. But I'm really excited to see the qualifying times around here, as I'm going to take these sunglasses off now because I cannot see a thing. Wow,
yeah, no,
okay.
Mine blind.
I've been flashbanged. Wow, okay. Yeah. Oh dear. But yeah, Miami. Where do we start? Fantastic circuit.
Well, is it though? It's not one of my favourite circuits. It's a street circuit that's not really a street circuit. It's around was it the Dolphins?
Miami Dolphins, yeah.
Miami Dolphins, yes. It's around their stadium. You know what? In hindsight, it's not a bad track. We've seen okay real life races, and it's much better for sim racing than it is for real life.
Yeah, just imagine if a track went straight through the middle of a stadium.
I think it should.
Brilliant.
I think it should.
It'd be like the Jimenez Rodriguez circuit, but good.
How dare you?
Listen. It's a cheat code. It's a cheat code for bad engines. That's all I'm saying. That's why Red Bull do so well. But
I'm wearing Rebel merch today as well. Just want to point that out.
Of course you are.
Wearing a Red Bull Miami merch.
But we do have to have a quick mention about the constructor standings, where your team aren't looking too bright, are they?
No, they're not doing well. I can't actually see the constructors today because of the way we've set this up.
I can tell you right now.
But Josh can tell us.
they've got 21 points compared to Alpine, Ferrari, and Mercedes, who respectively have 115.5, 66, and 55 points at the top 3 of the standings. So Alpine have kind of pulled away with this one so far. And with drivers such as Rehards and Lillian, I mean, realistically, it's what you would expect.
Well, also, let's not forget what Lillian said in their interview last week, that Miami happens to be their favourite circuit.
I am very intrigued by this constructors graph. I'm not going to lie to you. I do believe it might be maybe one or two mistakes. So let's swap it over to the drivers. Yeah, okay. Exactly. And there we go. Back to what I was expecting of Lillian winning almost every single race. Been on absolute tear of form here so far. I mean, as you mentioned, Lillian said in the interview, not necessarily feeling too confident around the circuit, but they've said that before and they've gone on to demolish competition.
This is their favourite circuit.
Yeah, but didn't necessarily practice it.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, but I don't think these guys practiced it until like the last day.
No, they're a little sweats, aren't they?
Yeah, little sweats. How dare they sweat?
That's why we love them. That's why we love them.
Yeah, exactly. Gives us good racing. But we should have also almost a full grid today. I think we got like about 17, 18 drivers. So we got a good level of drivers on the grid. Obviously, our two Ferraris, Camille and Leo, still trying to challenge for that title. But it's slowly slipping out of reach with only a few rounds left to go.
Why do we always have to punch down on Ferrari?
Well, they do it to themselves, don't they?
Right, that's right. Okay, harsh, but
harsh
we do.
Fair.
Okay, right, but of course, we should also mention that we're not too far away from the end of the championship. I mean, next week we got Great Britain, the week after that we got Bahrain, and that's season 35 done here.
3 to go.
It's getting to that time of the year where I'm going to start tearing up.
I know, we're going to be leaving. Well, not leaving. I don't know what we're doing next year. I don't know where I'm going.
You're
crying.
Well, certainly not to Miami again, mate.
No, won't be invited back.
No, you're definitely not getting into any clubs looking like that. But I'll tell you something. We have had prediction in the chat. Bogdan E's win today. You heard it here first from Miguel.
I'd like Bogdan to win. I think he deserves a victory.
Yeah, so then we got good old Timon rooting for his boys. I wish I was able to actually see who you put there, but the little heart emoji's covering it.
Oh. Also, just want to let you know, we are readying up in the lobby.
Oh no, surely not.
I think we're about to get some motor racing underway.
It's just me, or is it a bit bright in here?
It is a bit bright.
I feel like if we start doing the rain dance, we can start maybe influencing a little bit of the weather. Might need to go grab an umbrella if we start doing that though.
Yeah, I'd like some rain. Miami in the rain is possible.
Yeah, it just causes absolute carnage and it's brilliant to watch.
Exactly. Maybe some rain qualifying.
Thank you, Timon. Let's go Kai, Jack and Lillian. Thank you. Fingers crossed they're all going to have a good race. Hopefully, every driver manages to keep it out the wall, which is
I hope so.
my personal problem. Thank you. I don't feel safe commentating with a Discord moderator, to be honest with you.
No, it's also I can't really wear my headphones properly without it.
Exactly. We'll just ignore the fact you've moved your microphone enough for your audio to completely change for me to rebalance it in a couple seconds. That's fine. That's fine.
Sorry about that.
Oh, he's standing up now as well. Don't stand up too far. They'll see your shorts.
Yeah, casual Friday, even though it's Thursday.
You're on something, mate. You're on something. But we do have the drivers loading into the lobby now, and in just a matter of seconds, we'll be able to see how wet that beautiful cardboard marina is, because it is basically made out of cardboard. You can fight me on it. It's not real. It's not real. Might as well be cardboard. Soggy cardboard.
It's not exactly bright, but it's not raining.
Is it going to be enough? Oh, here we go. There we go.
Here we go. Yeah, it's not raining. But if we see drivers come out very quickly, we might have some. Oh, there is a driver coming out straight away.
Is that the pick for the win today? Bogdan.
Well, they're all actually, I would like to say they are all coming out fairly sharpish here.
Yeah. Just to clarify as well, Timon's already cleared his name, mate. He's not a Discord mod. He's only a YouTube one. Alex, mate, you've got the sole Discord moderator attitude at the minute.
What?
The next thing you know, you're going to be calling Timon your little kitten. But Someone who will be purring around these streets is going to be Bogdan in this Mercedes. Yes! So you saw that one coming. Go through this very, very technical Sector 1. It doesn't get enough credit, I don't think. Because it is a fantastic set of corners, which is so challenging to follow when following another car and making sure you end up getting the perfect lines through there. Because realistically, it's almost a polar opposite of what you would necessarily expect with different lines. All the drivers have that one exact line that they're trying to do, touching the apexes and getting themselves, you know, within that operating, you know, small window to set themselves up to try and get down this back straight as fast as possible, which kind of limits their ability. So it'll be very, very integral to their laps to make sure that they're able to get through that Sector 1 in almost an exact manner every single lap. Now, that might sound stupid, as Bogdan decides he doesn't like the bollard anymore and decides to take it out with a cheeky little body slam. Interesting move.
Interesting move indeed. Yes, that first sector is genuinely very tricky, as you were saying. It's got an awfully off-camber left-hander before the back straight, but also the middle sector as well. Obviously, the middle sector is mostly a main straight with DRS attached to it as well, and then obviously the really clunky under the bridge sector, which is called out many a driver. But you can gain a lot of time there because you can run over the sausage curbs and basically skip a large part of that corner. And so you reach the final corner as Bogdan will start his first flying lap around Miami. See what he can do here.
I remember last time we was here, we saw someone win and go on an absolute tear for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
I mean, there's only 2 races left. Potentially, they could go on a tear for the rest of the season here as well at PSGL. But so far, we're going to just have a little look here, and you can see what I mean. There's a certain line that you just have to take because it sets you up for this beautiful, long-sweeping left-hander, making sure not to invalidate on the right-hand side there, which can be so tricky sometimes, especially in the wet as well. It's so difficult, so challenging. I know we've had trouble at PSGL being able to run it at Miami before because of the track limits, but a couple patches from the beautiful people over at EA who make the game end up getting it working and operating just a couple months into the game's development.
As a feature.
It's a feature.
It's a feature. So yeah, keeping it to the right hand side there, and then switching it back to the left, and again very short braking zone into the left and the right, and he did that absolutely perfectly. Bogdan, he's run over those curbs to gain the time, but not to invalidate his lap time. And I think his battery was flashing there. He might have been saving a bit of battery through that sector for the long back straight, because you can run out of battery around this circuit. It's not exactly the longest circuit on the calendar, but because of how little braking zones there are, really, you don't really gain that much electric energy back. So round the final corner now, get the power down nice and smooth, not to spin out the car, and then keep it to the right hand side. And Bogdan across the line does do a 26.137 as my camera fell off my monitor.
Yeah, so if you don't know Alex's predicament with his camera, he's got a bit of duct tape and he slaps it on his monitor as Yanne ends up coming across with a 26.3 there as well. But we will
deal with that.
We will have more drivers coming across the line. But Camille, one of my personal shouts for a potential pole position has invalidated their first lap here.
Yeah, Camille, how many poles did he get in the opening seat?
Three on the bounce.
3 on the bounce, and didn't convert any of them to a victory.
Oh, if you're going to make a Charles Leclerc joke, we're going to have problems, Alex. We're going to have serious problems. You're going to make me cry.
I wouldn't do that. Now, the Alfa Romeos, let's not forget, they had a really good run out last time in Spain. They were very competitive in Spain, as Mr. Kai Pearson does a 125.6. A car, I imagine, and a driver looking for a bit of revenge after he was screwed out of a victory in Spain due to a yellow flag. It was
a little, you know, I don't want to say it, but Michael Massey had to rebalance the equation, you know.
Yeah, he needed a miracle, and luckily he got one.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully we won't have too many drivers retiring from this race, and if they do, it could very well be because of the walls. As you mentioned before, it is a street circuit here, although it's another one of those fast-flowing ones, isn't it, where it shouldn't necessarily be a street circuit because it's a bit too quick, but the walls are all so close, and all it takes is, you know, a slight misjudgment on the size of a car, a slight snatch of a brake, and you could be sailing yourself in towards a wall at any given point around this circuit. It's so dangerous. It's absolutely brilliant, and I don't know. I really do like this circuit. It's fantastic to watch. It's fantastic to race, and dare I say, probably my favourite part of this entire circuit is this little Singapore Sling Mickey Mouse chicane. I love it. It looks so unnatural for the cars to bounce over that curb and get away with it perfectly fine, but they're in a position where they can in this year's game.
I enjoy overtaking in that corner. It's one of my favourite places to overtake on the track. Usually doesn't go very well, but it's a great little set of corners. I really do enjoy it. But Kai with 125.625, Lillian 125.656, proving once again how close our grid is here in F3. 30 thousandths of a second between the top two. Then a little further back, Sixton, 3/10 back. But it's nice to see Sixton up there in third place. He's obviously a quality driver. We know his qualities as a driver, so we'll see if he can improve on that time.
Yeah, and for me as well, it's sort of interesting to see Lillian not sort of come out the gates and dominate the pace like they did, so many times of the qualifying throughout, because normally Lillian has a really strong start to the qualifying, but when it ends up getting slightly further into the qualifying, they can't necessarily seem to find that upgrade to the grip and, be able to push their tyres that couple tenths further for whatever reason. Maybe, a bit of overconfidence, maybe just relaxing a little bit on the lap. So perhaps a slow build up to the pace here is going to be on Lillian's cars today, as we see Thomas Laminen here going into the turn one, and he's got to be careful about that pit exit there as well. That's something that we're going to have to note as well.
Yeah, the pit exit literally releasing onto the end of turn 2. Very similar to the way Las Vegas actually does it into the entry into turn, turn 2 as well, or turn 3. But yeah, America seemed to like an exciting pit lane exit, that's for sure. As we see Mr. Thomas run wide there on the exit of, I believe that's turn 8, coming down the main straight, and instantly invalidates. That is the danger of that corner. If you don't get that set of corners right, like you said, Josh, you just invalidate and you have to go again.
It's lethal. Because,
it is lethal.
At that point, you've already started the lap, right? If you drive it back in the pits now and abandon, you've got basically the majority of the circuit to do, distance-wise, time-wise. Thankfully, most of it's a straight line. So it's not necessarily too costly, but having that issue right towards the start of a lap, it's not good. It's not fun, and the drivers will know if they make a mistake. Compared to, towards the end of a lap where you could be able to just dive it in the pits and, reset, go again mentally. Just knowing that you've had that mistake and you've just got to cruise around the rest of the circuit to dive it back into the pit lane and waste even more time. It's a tough one for the drivers in a mental capacity sort of way, to be able to really try and dial themselves back into the zone. So it'll be interesting to sort of see what lap times the likes of Camille and Nando are going to be doing here after they're invalidated. Camille in again. Not happy.
No, both laps he's gone in and come into the pits. Nando's going to be next up to do a lap in the McLaren. And he's going to cross the line here in Miami. What's his lap time going to be? And it's 7 tenths down on the leader. So we're looking at a 126, I believe, for Mr. Nando. But again, some of these lap times you think, wow, some of these would be, will be miles ahead of certain qualifying sessions. But in our PSGL F3, and once again Bogdan pushing the limits over those curbs, and he does invalidate. That is the danger with crossing over those sausage curves. But you've got to do it. If you want to make the time up around this circuit, you've got to make that push. And sometimes it pays off, sometimes it doesn't. And unfortunately, on this occasion, Mr. Bogdan, it did not pay off. Lillian, on the other hand, is pushing. I reckon they've got a fastest lap in them. Let's see.
Yeah, had a cheeky little slipstream down the back straight as well from Rehard, so it would be interesting to sort of see what lap time Lillian's going to be able to pull out of the book here with the aid of having a slipstream from the slower cars in front. It's looking tidy. No wheel spin. Is that diving it into the pits? It is as well. Interesting.
Obviously, Josh, you like this circuit. I haven't driven around here as much in leagues. It doesn't get picked as much to drive around here. But is it one of those circuits that you can't really find that much time in? Is it just one of those things that you've got to get those, you've got to nail those corners absolutely and pray for a little bit of more straight line speed, or what are we looking at here? For
it's
for Miami.
For track evolution, it's not grand. I'll be frank with you. It's not too grand, but the amount of time you can pick up just by having the slightest slipstream, going down the back straight, down that really long, almost a start-finish straight, to be honest with you. And then, of course, as well, the actual start-finish straight, although it's such a short straight, you can gain so much time if you're able to find a perfect opportunity to get a bit of a tow from a car in front and not compromise your run into turn one, because critically, that's where the time is lost around this circuit, is around the corners. It sounds stupid to say, it sounds really obvious, but you lose the most time going through these long swaying fast corners, if you're a couple millimeters off of the apex, or if you don't hit the right curbs, or the car doesn't want to rotate as easily, that's where you're going to be put at a detriment through the corners. You'll lose grip, you'll lose time, you'll scrub your tyres. The lateral load will be having an absolute wayward time with those poor Pirelli rubbers. And then, of course, you'd compromise yourself going onto the straight as well. So it's one of those where it's a little bit of everything. You've kind of got to pick and choose sort of how you want the setup to be. It's all good to have very, you know, a slipstream orientated setup. But if you're leading the pack, you're going to be struggling. If you've got a complete drag reduction setup, that's absolutely brilliant. You can get opportunities to overtake down the straight. But when it comes to those middle sectors, you'll be sliding all over the place, and they're just going to get a better exit and repass you. So it's kind of a lose-lose, depending on what sort of setups you take. As we see Kai Pearson with apparently a purple sector, but 2 temps down on the PB. I feel like that might be another feature.
I mean, another feature. Well, Mr. Dimas went 4th fastest, followed by Rahad, who goes 3rd fastest there. It looked like Kai was charging up his battery throughout that final sector. I imagine that is he's going to dive into the pits, like we've seen a few other cars do before. And yeah, once again, another car we're riding on board with dives into the pits. You see actually the marbles he picked up there on the exit of that final corner. Obviously, marbles are a new feature in this year's game, and this one's actually a feature they've designed to put into it, and it slows you down if you run over them in qualifying or during the race.
To be fair, when I was little and I used to run over marbles, I used to go quicker. I used to fall over a lot. So maybe they could just add, you know, an F1 car toppling over. As Timon says, he's mad at me for not doing something tomorrow or Saturday. He doesn't know the time. It would be Saturday, and I do have to apologise, Ty, but I'll be able to fill you in with a couple details a little bit after the stream. But let's.
You got a date?
Yeah, I've got a date with Destiny.
Yeah.
Very similar to. Oh dear. As we see Matthew Adler here having a date with his back straight. Now, it'll be very interesting to sort of understand the dynamics that they're going to be taking. Because although it's a straight, there's a few curves here and there, it's fully flat as you would expect. But defensive-wise, going down to defend into this little chicane here, where overtakes can be made, right? It might not be optimal, but they can be made. How would you even go about defending it? Would you want to give them the insight of that starting little squiggle, and then make sure you cover off the inside of the hard braking point? Because personally, I reckon that might be the best solution, but
yeah, it's tricky because the amount I feel like we mention it every race this year, but the amount of slipstream and DRS you gain from being behind a car this year is insane. And it's one of those things where if the car behind you's got a faster straight line speed and it's got that DRS and slipstream, there's not really a lot you can do to defend it. You can cover it off as much as you want. You can try and pull over to the outside, and also pulling over to the outside isn't always the best option because of the marbles in this year's game. You'll just pick them up on your tyre, and then when you hit the braking zone, you won't be able to follow them as easily through the next corner because you've got marbles on your tyres. It's one of those things where in this year's game, sometimes on a main straight where you're in front of the guy, it's sometimes best to just give up position and live to fight another day and go into the next run. That is what I would tend to do in those defensive battles. As Camille also did go 4th fastest, by the way, he has put himself up into P4, still 2 tenths down on Kai Pearson. Do you think Kai's getting that time down the back straight?
I feel like Kai's just carrying it into the corners, to be honest with you. I believe he's probably chucking the car in with a little bit more confidence of his earlier stage of running, although we are getting close towards the end of a qualifying session as well.
The early stage is over.
Yeah, if the yellow flags can kind of leave us alone, we can only see we've got 3 minutes 30 left on the clock. So this will be where other drivers are diving back into the pits.
That's the speed limit at the pit lane.
Tumas?
Tumas, he hit the...
That's about a 10-second time penalty for Ocon on that one, I reckon.
Yeah, I think Ocon deserves another one.
True.
So Mr. Dimas, he is going for another lap. He looks to improve on his lap right now. He's 2 tenths off of his teammate. Obviously, you want to beat your teammate. That is goal number 1 in Formula 1. You want to beat your teammate, and if you do that, then you know you might have a chance of doing something else. That's why Lance Stroll has never done anything in his career. So,
hold the phone. I'll have you know he's beaten Sergei Sorokin. Right, you leave Lance out. You leave Lance out of this. We focus on Alexander Dimas, the almost polar opposite to Lance Stroll here.
Yeah,
at PSGL. Oh, okay, right.
Sorry, Lance. I know you're a big fan of PSGL F3. He watches it every week.
Oh, I don't blame him.
He won't watch it anymore.
Where else is he going to find the honest critiquing system that his team lacks? As we see the F7R driver, Alexander Dimas, warming up for this lap here as well, as we can see the sun starting to set. around the
His
streets of
last lap
Miami.
qualifying.
Last lap of qualifying, and he's going to be the first one to gun, and you can see the gap behind on the minimap as well. The next car back to him is going to be the Aston Martin of Sixten Lindhart, so...
He's got a nice bit of space.
He's got a lot of space, but I'm a bit concerned about that McLaren, which seems to be crawling its way out of the pit lane at the minute. That could cause
on the clock.
maybe a couple issues, unless Dimas is looking to try and get an almighty toe down that back straight in Sector 2. That could be a very good idea if he's able to implement it correctly. But of course, scheduling any sort of slipstream in PSGL is so difficult to do, and it's very much frowned upon.
It is very much frowned upon. You've got to use your own raw speed rather than someone else's. So, should we ride on board with Mr. Dimas? I'll take us through that.
Go on, then.
Of qualifying. So, coming around the final corner now, one of my favourite final corners actually. It's so fast and flowing, kind of like Vegas in a way. So into turn 1, it's a heavy braking zone into a right-hander. Easy to lock up the tyres here, but he's done that so beautifully indeed. And then he's just got a little bit, he got a little bit out on the exit curb there. That might cost him during the lap. So now on to the tricky first sector. Nails the first apex. Nails the second one. Can he nail the third one? Yes, he does. He's going to run it a bit wide. Hits that braking zone. And he doesn't run too far out wide, and just enough there to hit that first sector to hit now the DRS, which is going to come up very shortly. It seems like it's a long way away, but it's there now. And once again, DRS down the straight. He's keeping to the left-hand side and then switching back to the right, using all of the circuit possible, and then into the braking zone. Brake later than you think you need to, and then you can run it close to the wall here on the right-hand side. That's perfect through there, and then switch it back to the left. Run over the curbs. Can he do it beautifully? Yes, he can. Little bit of movement on the rear end, but not too bad. And now DRS wide open as we now head down the next back straight. Thomas Lanner got a 5-place grid penalty, which means we'll have to restart the lobby. So down the main straight now, DRS wide open for the AlphaTauri driver. This will be his final sector, his final lap of qualifying, as you don't want to run out too far wide. He's done that well. He's got the power on early, and now run up to the line. Can he improve on his time? He does not improve on his time. He only manages 5th fastest, and that is where he'll remain unless anyone can beat him. There's a lot of cars out on track able to do that right now. We're watching Sixten right now, but Jane is about to do their final lap. They're 7/10 down on pole. They'll be looking to at least improve their places into the top 10. Let's see if they can do that.
Yeah, we know Yarne is a very talented driver in that own regard.
Yarne, sorry, do apologise.
I'm sure it's okay. I'm sure they'll forgive you. As Yarne here is going to come across the line with a 26.2 to improve by a couple temps, but it's still not quite enough, and we're going to be watching the rest of the cars file through soon as Kai Pearson with a 25.6 can't improve. Got Sixten also following with a Ferrari hot on his heels behind him. Is that Camille behind? Camille has spun it at the final corner. Oh,
improve. Oh, diagnosed it. Bogdan goes 6th fastest. There's an Alpine coming up next. It's not Rahaz. Rahaz is invalidated. Lillian takes pole position at the dying moments. A 10th faster.
Leo dives in the pits as well.
Leo's into the pit. A lot of people diving into the pits. Here comes Wilson Hall. Can he improve on 13th fastest? No, he can't. He stays where he is. There's a few others he has to improve. Thomas goes at 13th. Can Nando improve? He goes up to 6th fastest from the back of the grid. That's a big improvement. But Lillian at the death improved by just enough to take pole position once again. It's Lillian from Pearson, from Rahaz, from Camille, and it's your top 4. Dimas, Nando, Bogdan, Sixten, Matthew Adler, and Andreas Lopez round out your top 10. Good qualifying session, that.
Good qualifying, but I can imagine Camille's not very happy with that spin at the final corner. It's such a difficult corner as well, because you're battling with the wheel spin coming out the hairpin regardless, and it just doesn't get easier, does it?
No, it doesn't, and it's just one of those things where you got to push it. Really got to push the limits on this track. Street circuits are limit pushers, and once again, it just went over the limit for Camille. We will have a lobby restart by the looks, because Thomas did get a 5-place grid drop because of a thing. But you know what? You know why I think Lillian does so well in PSGL F3?
Oh god, man, how?
They have a GT Omega gaming chair.
Oh, is that true?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought so. Right, well, without further ado, I suppose I should do my bit and press the button. Wow. Talk about a qualifying session. Not as close as some might have expected, but it was certainly drama-filled. Had the entire pack squabbling for some sort of track position between all the drivers at that last stint as well. If that's an indication of anything to do in the race, could be looking a bit spicy on the first couple of laps.
Yes, it looks like we could get some interesting racing here. Unfortunately, I have just seen the original lobby, and I don't think we're going to get any rain, which is a bit of a shame.
You never
but
know. We can pray it.
you never know. But 15 drivers will take the grid. 15 of F3's best drivers, and let's see what they can perform. We'll obviously have a quick lorry restart because of a 5-place grid penalty, which is a feature of this year's game, which does sometimes ruin some people's plans. Maybe if someone's got to, get somewhere on time, or make sure they're not late to anything.
No, I'll tell you what. We can have a little look at this for a bit of a gander. Let's see the drivers. How do you reckon we're going to take turn 1? Because I don't reckon they'll actually take the corner. Oh, no. Oh, there we go. We've already got one drifting.
The drifters.
Just be aware, this is not the race. There is a lobby restart.
Yeah, I don't know why they're racing this.
Yeah.
Do they know there's a lorry restart?
I would hope so. Oh, there we go.
There we go. That's what we expected.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, he's in a there we go.
Oh, beautiful
it's
stuff.
It's like Charles Leclerc.
Okay, that's a bit uncalled for. Yeah, so I feel like a couple of the drivers got the message and were told to give a little friendly nudge on circuit just to make sure the rest of them knew what was going on.
These still are racing. These two
are still going. At this point, let's. They do know. They have been told, right? I'll just clarify that to those at home. They do know.
Yeah, they do know that there is a lobby restart.
I suppose they're just trying to get in every ounce of practice possible, which, I mean, maybe couldn't be the end of the world, but...
I guess so. Maybe we'll start it on wet weather so they don't have any practice to make it fair.
I feel like that would be fair.
I think that's fair.
Absolutely. But, a little bit of carnage never hurts anyone. Adds a bit of enlightenment to the stream. Of course, when they're not racing for points, they're just doing a lobby restart. They'll quite often end up having a little bit of wreckfest. Let's say, let out a bit of the emotion, let out a bit of the energy, and get themselves back into the Zen mind, being able to put peace and tranquility, being able to perfectly find themselves on that starting grid, to be able to try and crank out the best couple laps they've done in their life.
Yes.
Something I couldn't do.
No,
something you definitely can't do.
Definitely I can't do. I am the least Zen person when racing. Josh has seen me race.
He starts shouting for no reason. He was shouting about his Diet Coke being flat the other day.
I can't hear Josh anymore. Is that a problem?
That might.
I can hear you now.
Okay, that's good.
That was weird. Oh, online services error.
Uh-oh. This isn't looking good.
Oh, not again.
Imagine. Imagine. We love features.
It's a feature.
We do.
I'll just check the Steam service.
Oh dear. Right. And while this is doing, I suppose I can finally close the poll there and get a little bit of a look in here.
Oh no, the Steam servers are fine.
Okay, interesting. So 41% of you did vote and said Lillian was going to get poll. So congratulations to those of you who did vote.
And if you voted after qualifying, then you cheated.
Yes, and you're going to hell, or whatever damnation you believe in. You go in there.
Yeah.
Whether that's Miami, could be China, wet circuit, intermediate tyres, you name it. You go in there.
Exactly.
Because I know Alex's personal damnation would be Ferrari World Drivers Champion.
I wouldn't mind Ferrari to be world champion.
Jog on.
But it won't be Charles Leclerc.
You make me sad. You really do.
Actually, 2022.
Yes.
At the start of the season, me and my mates did predictions.
Okay.
I said Carlos was going to be world champion.
That's stupid.
Because A, Ferrari looked good at the start of the season. B, I for some reason believe Carlos could beat Charles, which he technically did in 21.
No.
Over a season.
No.
He was higher in the points.
No.
Yeah, he was. Do you want me to get it up? I'll get it up right now.
If we're going to talk about that, we should at least give you know, a smidge of credit. I can see you typing.
I'll do it.
Behave.
I'll do it.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like with a lot of championships, Miami can quite easily, especially as of recent years, be somewhat of a turning point.
Miami.
Yes.
Well, 2021, it didn't happen, so that's a stupid question. 2022, Max won?
Yep. But I
Yep.
believe Leclerc was ahead in the standings at that point.
Yes, he was.
Yep.
And then, of course, 2022, Max
23.
won. 23, sorry. And then Max won and proceeded to win every race until Singapore.
So what I'm hearing is if you win this race, you're winning the title.
Yeah,
'Cause
pretty much.
That's the way it's been going.
Everyone that's won the Miami GP has gone on to win the world title.
Bam. We've just discovered a fact for Sky Sports. You're welcome. That's going to be a stupid fact in a practice session, I can guarantee it. But,
Yep. And also Max has won every race in the US this year. Well, last year.
Well,
Because he won Miami.
He won 90% of the races anyway.
Well, I think 22 he won them as well, because he won Miami 22. He won Kota. Did he win Kota 22? Yes.
Maybe.
Someone fact check me. And obviously Vegas didn't happen. And then 21 he won Kota. So. And in 2020 there was no American races. 2019.
I don't know.
Oh no, Bottas won Kota in 2019.
Raikkonen?
No, that was 2018.
Okay, right, yeah. Sorry, I was just doing the mental maths. Right, I'm just setting up a cheeky little poll here to try and get some people's
Ooh, a cheeky
opinions.
poll. Oh. Yeah. Also, just anyone wanted to know, Carlos finished 5th in 2021 and Charles finished 7th.
Yeah, and what happened when we was put in equal cars? Leclerc's still not being beaten by a teammate. Fight me on it. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Even Max has been beaten by Carlos, huh?
That's true. In Toro Rosso,
Yeah.
he outqualified him over a season. In 2015, Carlos outqualified Max in a whole season.
Skill issue. What could I say?
Except you're welcome.
Who do you reckon the likelihoods are for the win here? We've got Lillian.
Kai.
Kai's a good shout.
And of course, everyone's favourite Bogdan. Everyone wants Bogdan to win.
True.
He's the crowd favourite.
Right. Starting a poll. There we go. Bogdan's in
He's
it.
like Logan Sargent.
Just not at the back of the grid.
Yeah.
There you
And
go.
a crowd favourite.
Logie Sarge is a crowd favourite, I'll have you know.
Logie
Thank you
Bear
very
is the
much.
best.
He's my bear.
Yeah,
I
he's
couldn't
my
win.
goat.
Yeah.
Also, we're about to get started, by the way.
I know. I can't wait, honestly. Stall of
We're ready
time.
for it.
Ah, it's looking clear
Yeah.
as well, so it could be interesting.
I'm looking forward to it.
I'm not sure if I am.
I'm ready to do my lights out and away we go. I think I'm going to get copyright for that one day.
Lights out and away we go. Way.
Lights out and away we go.
Whoever gave you a microphone needs to be, reconsider their own life choices for giving you this
I know.
asset.
Someone gave me the choice to be able to talk,
Oh,
to commentate.
dear. But we got a bit of love in the chat there from Meetwe. Bigging up Nando. Got Coxigo for Lillian. I love you, my biboo. Interesting.
What was the first name, sorry? What was his name?
Coxigo.
Okay.
Oh, right, Deathlink.
No, you've demonetized us again now.
Oh! My bad. Oopsie daisy.
For God's sake, it's your fault for saying my name.
Hey, don't say the Lord's name in vain either. Last thing I want is to be demonetized and smited.
Hang on, sorry.
Oh,
There we go. We're ready for Miami. The 5 red lights are on. And we're underway for the Miami GP here in F3. And it's a good start from our pole sitter as Lydian races down into turn 1 and takes a well-deserved lead into turn 1. Kai follows with Rahad, Camille and Dimas all following in behind. There's some changes at the back of the grid, but everyone sticking together, all starting on the hard set of tyres, and everyone has made it through turns 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 all cleanly. No incidents so far.
Yeah, we're all in unison. I feel like they had a little group meeting before the start of the race and decided, hey, everyone, we're just going to go single file. Everyone just go on hard tyres. We'll get the job done. But this is where, you know, it's going to turn from more of a straight-up race and outright pace to more of a chess game, and being able to find time using the advantages, as Camille is going to be looking to do something very similar, forcing Rehards to go a little bit defensive, and you'll notice on the Delta that'll compromise him slightly in more comparison compared to drivers further down the field who are going too wide for this long sweeping right-hander, which is very brave before they end up getting to the Mickey Mouse sector, and we're going to have to sort themselves out in single file. Unless you're Leo London, you've got to try and play it around the outside there. Brilliant stuff there from Leo. Fantastic work.
That was spectacular. They're still wheel to wheel, neither of them giving it up so far. They've been wheel to wheel through the entirety of that final sector, and Leo's looking like he's got a little less straight line speed than Mr. Thomas, but he'll dive down his inside. If he brakes a bit later, he might even get Ivan Santa Maria as well. And has he got 2 cars in one corner? I think he has, but they still go wheel to wheel in the final sector. I think he's still there on his inside, but I think he has just pulled ahead, and Leo Lund is making his moves known. He loves to make a little overtake on lap 1 because he tends to lose quite a few positions on lap 1, but he's up into 11th.
Yeah, that's the Leo Lund we saw at the start of the season, where he was aggressive. You know, he didn't mind making these overtakes, and that's exactly what we want to see here at PSGL, is a driver with the confidence about him to try and make moves like that work and see opportunistic passes and go for them. Because at the end of the day, it's no love lost. All these drivers are here to win. And not exactly where you want to be is down in P13 battling for P10, as Leo is going to be looking to try and make his way up through the field here, as Thomas Laminen seems to be all over the back at the minute of Ivan Santamaria, who seems to have had a little bit of a wakey start, to say the least.
Yeah, it's interesting they've all decided to go on the hard tyre. I thought someone might risk a medium tyre at least. Obviously, I don't know if, Josh, you've done any research this afternoon for tyre differentials. But the hard tyre seems to, according to our AWS here, obviously we're powered by AWS, doesn't seem to be starting on hards. It seems to be going medium hard, but I guess these guys are going hard medium? Or maybe they're preying on a safety car. We'll see.
Potentially. Personally, if I was one of these drivers, from the little bit of research I did and a little bit of scouting I did in other events which have run Miami, there's quite often a safety car. I can't imagine why, as we see another... That was a bit of a half-assed attempt there from Yanni, as now Wilson's going to be all over back there. That's the last thing you want to do around this circuit, because it'll lose you so much time, as we see Kai catching right up to the back of Lillian once again. As I mentioned before, it's such a short straight, the start finishes, but it's still enough to get you right up behind the car for turn 1, and if you deploy a little bit more ERS from the car in front, you can very easily try and make a challenge down into turn 1, if you don't mind sacrificing almost the entirety of Sector 1.
Yeah, exactly. And I think I wanted to mention on Yane's moves there, that it's one of those things where the first thing I was taught when I started karting was don't ever go for half moves. You either got to go full moved or you don't go for the move at all. Never go for a half move. It confuses you, it confuses the driver you're trying to overtake. But that's an interesting line there from Kai. He's not sticking to the slipstream of Lillian, going completely wide and ignoring Lillian, and Lillian covering off the inside completely there. Very interesting to see these two drivers, obviously two heavyweights of the F3 division. Neither of them decide to take a conventional line through that corner. Both of them sitting on 100% ERS. They're very well matched here.
Yeah, realistically here, Kai's just going to be waiting for an opportunity, maybe for Lillian to try and make a mistake. But how many times have we seen drivers wait for Lillian to make a mistake and not be able to find an opportunity, as we see Kai breezing past down on the straight there? Something that we should probably see a lot of in this race, to be quite frank with you, as Nando trying to go around the outside with a very bold move there, had to back out of it, decided it was better to wait and try to get the overtake sorted another lap when he can try and sort of mount a better opportunity for himself to climb up into P5 with Dimas stern on the defence for that lap. It'll only be a matter of time before these hard tyres are going to start wearing though, and then that'll be the opportunity for undercuts to come in.
Yeah, exactly. It'll be interesting to see if anyone does any different strategy options with the hard tyre. Leo's also made himself up into P10, getting past Matthew Adler. That DRS is very powerful. How many times have we got to say it before everyone realises how powerful it really is? But It is. It's one of those things that I hope next game that they turn down a bit. I think the DRS is a bit too powerful in this year's game, in my opinion. It's not there. It's not there to help you overtake. It's there to help you get close for an overtake. That's what it was originally brought in for, and I feel like that's what they should try and get back to.
I feel like we should upgrade it more. I feel like it should just, teleport you in front of the car in front as soon as you open it.
That might help you. Yeah.
It'll be like desync. They can make a new feature.
That's a feature. Desync's a feature.
I just want to point out here as well, you can see the following car here is always taking slightly different of a line compared to the leader. And the reason for that is because they're just trying to focus on the exit here, while P1's just trying to maximise the amount of time they're not going to lose in comparison. As you see Kai going defensive. Lillian will get the overtake sorted around the outside, probably before even braking zone, as Kai moves back over to cover it off, to try and get themselves the best exit possible going down his back straight again. And as I mentioned before, we're going to see the swap play into sort of a more situational strategic moment, because obviously we saw last week as well, Kai waited for his moment and the yellow flag came out and potentially cost him, did cost him what would be a race win.
Yeah, it cost him everything.
Realistically, how much are we going to, fodder around with trying to keep the lead, swap it backwards and forwards, work together to try and break away from the cars as well? Because I'm not sure if you noticed, but Camille's got a little bit of a gap forming now to Rehards, as these front three sort of seem to be, I don't want to say checking out, because they're still not quite there, but they're definitely trying to build a gap.
Yeah, they're trying to pull each other away. Of course, obviously, Lillian and Rahad's both in the same team. They'll both be, obviously, no, it's not a team championship here in PSGL, as we always mention, but teams do tend to, chat to each other in lobbies, and they'll be talking to each other during their race if they get on well enough. So I imagine Lillian and Rahad are going to try and work a little bit together here. It will actually be good if Mr. Dimas can get past Camille and go help Kai, because Kai's basically in a 2-on-1 fight here. It's like having your hand tied behind her back. But Kai definitely can do this all on his own. And once again, it's going to be another swap. That straight, I think people forget how long of a straight it is. The DRS starts about, not even halfway down, about a quarter of the way down the main straight.
Yes.
And if you pick it up there and you're relatively close to a driver, without even using ERS, you can get past the driver before the braking zone. That is a very powerful DRS zone. I think it's even short. I think they've shortened it in real life because of how powerful it is.
Yes, they did. I had a last-minute call to shorten it up a little bit because it was a bit too strong. But I will say, in contrast to that, to play devil's advocate, all it takes is a little bit of DRS deployment from the car in front. If you're in a train like this, and it's going to be almost impossible to overtake because of a DRS train, as we see Andres taking a little bit too much curb, and that's exactly what I'm on about. You've got to nail that sector almost perfectly every single lap in order to make sure you don't have these wobbles, because you can see now the gap forming there to Sixton before the DRS gets reopened again, and he's going to be able to catch back up. It's very costly, to say the least, having any sort of slight wobble. If a rear loses it or whatnot, it can be absolutely detrimental to a potential race, overtake, lead, even in the middle of a pack, because at that point you could potentially get chewed up and swallowed and, spit back out, whatever, by the rest of the car surrounding you. So it'll be very interesting to sort of see how the driver's going to be able to cope with that during this hard tyre stint, because to me now, surely they're either going to have to try and play it all the way for a very long stint and go onto the softs at the end, or they're going to have to try and trigger an undercut somewhere. And if none of the drivers budge, it looks like there might not be any, audacious attempts for an undercut, as we see Lillian this time staying back. Now this is what I mean. Yeah, these are the chess games.
Wasn't as close. Yeah, wasn't as close on that attempt to make the overtake anyway. And I did see a little bit of a wiggle of the rear end. I think that might have been a message to Mr. Rahad's behind, saying, let's work together here. And unfortunately, there's obviously not a lot else you can do. If they're not in a chat together, you can't really just hold your hand up and say, we'll go get him. But
I can almost guarantee they're in a chat, because both of them are race clutch drivers. And it wouldn't surprise me if Sixton and Andres Lopez are also in the same chat, and all of them are going to be sort of crafting the hatch and a plan to make sure they can have the best races possible for themselves individually, while also not being a detriment to the other members of their racing organisation.
Exactly.
I mean, it's a smart way to do it.
Well, here we go.
What's better than one teammate when you can have three? As we're going to see Lillian here go for the overtake around the outside. Kai decided not to put up too much of a fight, but now this will be interesting to see whether Kai's going to swipe back immediately down the back straight, and whether Lillian can kind of bait him into using a bit more of ERS than he would necessarily like to.
Also, something else that I should point out right now, we have a break in the DRS train. Mr. Nando is about to drop out of DRS. He has been dropping out a few times already. He's not careful. He's going to get swallowed up from the pack behind. Mr. Bogdan looks to be on it as well. Mr. Bogdan looks to be going for the overtake on Nando. And once again, I think he must have made another mistake through that first sector. As we mentioned, Josh, all throughout today, if you don't get that first sector right, you do not keep up with the cars in front. And Bogdan will fight this one out with Nando out of the final corner. And Nando may not have anything to do to fight back, and he can't. He's also used a lot of ERS there. You can see his ERS is down to about 20%. That's imagine because Nando's been making mistakes elsewhere and has been using the ERS to catch up down the main straight.
Yeah, it's interesting. Timon, trust me, I'm very much aware that they're all not in a call. It's for a bit of narrative. They're all buddies. All these drivers are buddies off track. As for a moment, I thought I saw Rihaz lose my rear there.
It's called storytelling.
Storytelling. They're all buddies. They're all
Go
best
with us.
friends. I promise you. They all go out and have coffees, despite them living in different countries. But someone who certainly wouldn't mind having a coffee at the minute is going to be Rihaz, because he's going to be awake and alert for Camille behind. Camille's caught back up. This gap here, I'm not sure whether Lillian necessarily wanted to make the move on Kai down that back straight. He could have played it a little bit longer. Could have tried to pull Rihaz in a little bit more to get the overtake sorted on Kai so they could secure the 1-2 for the Alpine.
Oh, what camera angle.
Oh no, absolutely brilliant. My favourite one's where it shows the underside of a bridge instead of the cars.
That's a great one.
It's lovely.
But Kai already pulling out early there.
Doesn't want anything
Pulls out
to do.
incredibly early, but didn't want any sort of slipstream at all. Maybe baiting Rihaz there, because did Kai put himself into the marbles to also force Rihaz into the marbles as well? That'd be a very interesting strategy, and it's actually worked out quite well for Kai, because he's still relatively close here. Well, he's not going to go for it into turn 1, I imagine. He's not got DRS open. That's how you prove. Ooh,
very, very
Rihaz.
close.
Goodness me, sir. Gonna be a bit more careful on the brakes.
Favour marbles, what we were talking about.
I think so. I think that is where, if you pick up the marbles on your tyres, you've got to spend at least a lap cleaning them off them. And look at that. Look, Kai, again, out of sorts through that corner. It may have been tactics to gain a bit of advantage on the car behind, but he might lose a bit on Lillian. Lillian's the main target for this afternoon. It seems to be a race between Kai and Lillian. Obviously, Rihaz is there or thereabouts. And once again, look, Kai pulling over, just not in the slipstream.
Yeah, but he's not necessarily going over to the dirty part of the track, which I find very interesting as well. He's not wanting to get the marbles on his tyres. He doesn't want to scrub his tyres any further than what Lillian has.
Leo.
It's all about management. As we see,
Leo Lander's got past Andres
Guybomb.
Lopez.
I believe it
Oh,
was.
he's round the outside. Not again. He's done it again. He's done it again, Mr. Leo Lund, through that final sector. He loves it. He loves the little tricky overtake, Mr. Leo Lund. Man out of my own heart.
Noticed as well how he was able to secure that position before the Mickey Mouse section, so he won't lose too much down this back straight. As we're going to swap back to the lead and sort of see this dynamic playing out, as Rihaz is now pulling out of that slipstream, just trying to get a little bit of a...
Down the inside. Sixten goes down the inside of Nando. It's up into P7 as he fights him out of the final corner. I think he's got in front, yes, so Sixten now into 7th as well.
Yeah, it's brilliant stuff. Moving all the way throughout the grid. Loads of battles on track. Nando as well could be susceptible for an overtake here from Leo if he's not careful. He's got to try and pace himself a little here.
Yeah, Nando seems to be dropping back a bit. Leo is trying to make that move in front. He's got once again, Leo recovering from another bad qualifying session.
I know.
We thought he fixed it in Spain, and he comes to Miami, and once again he just can't improve on his qualifying.
No, but he's certainly got the race pace to be up there as well.
Oh,
I've seen
100%.
it time and time before. He's a fantastically talented driver. Absolutely brilliant stuff from him so far in this race, and it wouldn't surprise me if we're going to see a couple more overtakes from him later today as Kai gets within a 10th once again and backs out there. You know, I feel like these two, it's a bit more of a chess game. They've learned each other's patterns after last race. They understand what each other like to do, where they're strong, what corners they especially like, the fast-flowing ones, the slower ones, the ones with, slightly more turning, the one where you've got to get the rear rotated first. All those, sort of technicalities, they've matched up, and they've probably done research over the week to sort of find out and discover more about it from the VODs, learning and just picking up any sort of detail they can get from the other driver, and that's the sort of, you know, integral level here at PSGL that these drivers are on, to try and find all the time available.
Leo's got in front of Nando. And as we said, Nando had to be careful, and he wasn't careful enough. Leo up into 8th place now. And let's be honest, it might seem like, oh, Leo's in 8th. He's still quite far off the top places. He's not. He's really not that far off the top places. These guys are separated by a corner each, maybe.
Yes,
That's
absolutely.
how close we're looking at the grid right now. We are lap 11 of 29 here. Because I've had 10 laps on the hard tyre. Is it one of those things where if you're Leo Lunge, you're sitting in 8th place, you're obviously making moves, you clearly got the pace this afternoon. Do you call it early for an undercut and just try and use that raw pace you have to jump a few more cars in the pit lane? Obviously, it might screw you a bit later on in the race, but he's got the pace, clearly. He's shown it already this afternoon as Kai gets in front.
I'd say if it was at Miami, I would agree with you, and I'd say yes, but purely because you need the traction to get onto these straights as fast as possible. It's going to be such a detriment at the end of a race. It's going to be such a punishment. So I feel like definitely trying to secure an overcut would be better. As we've got Timon in chat saying as well, engine temps are high here as well. So that is another reason why they're going to be swerving out of the necessary slipstream, because they are also closed up and because they spend so much time running close one another. The engine temps go up, the tyre temps go up, everything sort of messes up with a little bit of overheating, as Valtteri Bottas would love to explain to you in his days at Mercedes.
Yeah. Those positive days at Mercedes.
Someone who is driving like they should be racing for a Mercedes outfit at the minute is Lillian, still all over the back of Kai Pearson. Very, very close. Very, you know, it's just there or thereabout, isn't it? It's like, it's that chess game. At any point, Lillian would be able to just deploy the ERS and battery dump it, but controlled, measured, and you know, securing an offensive move where potentially both them and Rehards could get past.
Yeah, if they're going to work together, the Alpines, which it looks like they are, can they both work together to get in front of Kai, finish a 1-2? Lillian, of course, is looking to settle the World Championship, possibly by the next round in Great Britain. Right now, Lillian is gaining a lot of points to the world title, and I don't know who's the closest in the contender. Is it Camille? Is Camille the closest contender in the...
I think it still might be Leo.
Well, if it's Leo, Leo's only down in 8th, and Camille down in 4th. Right now, the world title swing might be maybe uncatchable shortly.
Potentially. Sebastian Vettel-esque, almost.
Yeah, Sebastian Vettel-esque, of course, and of course, most recently, Max Verstappen-esque. But Josh doesn't like to mention that one. But here we go. Lillian once again going for the move. And are we going to see Rehards try and make the move as well? I think he's a bit too far back on this occasion.
Yeah, too far back. Can't follow a teammate through, so he's just going to have to try and size it up here.
Ooh,
as Lillian takes it a little deep, but we'll get a better exit there for the time being, as Rehards is slightly compromised on his exit. But again, it's one of those straights. It's long enough to be able to get a great run, but it can be very, very painful when a driver makes a mistake and you're just not quite behind and you know, in a position to really try and get an overtake and catch back up. It's certainly a tough one.
It is certainly a tough one indeed. So, lap 13 of 29 here at Miami. And I think we've just seen Kai go a bit deep in the S section because Rehards is right there on his rear. But I imagine Kai might have to use a bit of ERS to pull a bit closer. He doesn't want to get overtaken by Rehards. That is the last thing he needs in this race. But actually, it's looking like there's a chance for an overtake. Maybe not on this attempt, but maybe on the next one. Look how close they are running now, as Matthew Adler has got in front of Nando as well. Nando right now is just going backwards. He can't seem to find the pace at all on these hard tyres. Might be an opportunity to go switch onto a new set of tyres very shortly. Depends how long these guys are planning to run them. If they're going for the soft tyre, they got to run them at least till lap 20, maybe even a bit later.
Absolutely, and you know, with that comes a bit more sliding, a bit more, you know, graining on the tyres. It's going to be a very tough challenge, so it wouldn't surprise me if I start seeing a couple of these, you know, from about P7 down to try and go onto the medium tyre and give it a go. As that was a very late move from Camille, almost tried to put it down the inside. As I'm not sure if you've noticed, but it's almost as if the field has been backed up a little bit here.
Maybe. I think... Oh, we do have a pit lane enter. Mr. Thomas has taken the risk. He's going for a new set of, well, I assume, medium tyres. And he is. Medium tyres are on. Let's see what he can make up. Let's see how he can make up time. But also, is that going to trigger anyone else into the pit lane? Because I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Josh. Correct me if I'm wrong. But if no one else pits now, and Thomas starts banging in the laps, he'll get in front of everyone because of how close everyone is.
Yeah. I mean, it's feasible.
It's
But-
only he's 16 seconds to the car behind. So how much is he off the leader right now? Just gonna quickly check this information
There you
out.
go. 23.
23 seconds. He would get in front.
Potentially, it's a tough one. As mentioned, track position's good and all, but having to sacrifice a little bit of life on most tyres is going to cost you all the time coming out through corners. It'll cause a bit more wheel spin. The car's going to be a little bit more sloppy going through that first sector as well. It's such a tough thing to try and, you know, calculate and manage, but these drivers run simulation after simulation on these races, learning everything to do with the tyres, the deck, how the car feels, how it operates, how it works with their individual setups, how they can change it in the pit stop, how they can update the diff, the brake balance, the front wing to make it a bit more comfortable to drive throughout the longest stints of the races. We see another car going, I believe that's
Sixton, I think.
Yeah.
Well, this will be the test. This will be the test.
Yeah, I'm almost convinced Lillian's backing him up.
Yeah, I think Lillian is. A lot of people in the pits, by the way. Sixton, Yarne, Wilson, and Nando, all in the pits at the same time. And I think Mr. Thomas will get in front of all of them.
It's just going to come down to the braking zone turn on, isn't it?
It's going to be close. Oh, we didn't get in front of the Aston. Okay, so that's where the limit was. Sixton was about P6 when he came into the pits. So, right now, it's anyone's guess. It's anyone's guess. Lillian is clearly back in the pack. Here we goes Camille. Is Camille going to go for it? No, Camille stays behind. Ooh, late on the brakes there from Mr. Dimas. He really caught up to the back of Leo. It looks like the pack's being backed up here. Josh, you are correct.
Yeah.
Lillian, I think, is backing it up. And the question is, why?
I dread to think. I dread to think what sort of strategy we've come up with.
Because that surely is just going to allow the people that have pitted early to undercut everyone.
Unless Lillian's so confident that they'll be able to make the overtakes work. In the later
Oh, but not when
stages.
Kai's taking the lead.
Yeah, that's the thing. If Kai overtakes here and decides to try and play a little bit more of this game where they're backing it up slightly more.
Into the pits.
Into the pits. Good move from Kai. He knows he was just being held up, and Camille also follows him there, I believe. Yes, absolutely. Very late on the brakes. So, now comes the time for Lillian and Rehards to really push and work together. Swap down the main straight, swap down the back straight. Just work together as a single unit and lose as little time as possible.
Sixton's going to get in front here.
Maybe.
Oh,
Laminin sets for fastest lap time.
they are going to get in front.
Ooh, very close there from.
Oh, Laminin! Oh, is he going to get involved in a battle that's not really his? No, he backs out of it. He backs out of it. He's got warmer tyres though. Look how much he's pushing him through the corners.
I know. And it's
Go for it down the inside.
He's got to get the car straightened up as soon as possible. And with a little switch like that, that's not going to be in a world of opportunity. As we're going to see
pulls. Camille
slowly
pulls.
fall farther back, but we can imagine Camille's going to be deploying a bit of that ERS just to make sure they're safe going down into this braking zone. But you mentioned the amount of lap time that they could gain. 5 tenths was the difference between Sixton and Kai. Surely they've gone 5 tenths quicker on these medium tyres compared to the likes of Rehards and Lillian in front.
Surely, you got to think so. It's interesting to see where they're going to go now. Are they going to pull it into the pits, or are they going to wait even longer?
I mean, they can't double stack anyway.
No, they can't double stack. One of them have to take the risk here to either pull in now or wait another couple of laps. And are they going to go in? No, Lillian. No, Rehards pulls in. Lillian stays out.
Bold.
That is a bold choice. Dimas in as well. Andres Lopez, Matthew Adler is in. Leo, Bogdan, and Lillian all stay out here. And is Rehards going to get held up here a bit? Oh, he might have done just slightly by the Mercedes. Now, this is the interesting moment. Where is Kai going to come out? I think it's going to be in front of...
Will be in front.
But who else is going to be in front of him? A few cars. Quite a few cars, I must say.
Yeah, Rehards back out behind Laminin there. You just saw him in your picture there for a second. P8. Not exactly a rejoining position.
That means Lillian's going to come behind these cars as well.
You would think so, but it depends
so.
how much battery Lillian decides to really dump and try and get a move on.
As Leo's into second.
Very interesting. Yeah, I mean, one of the predictions for race 1, Bogdan. Still there, still P3. Safety car comes out. In a world of opportunity.
Are they going softs now?
Surely not. Softs of 12 laps, it just wouldn't work.
It wouldn't work, no. It's
Absolutely
something
not.
I would try, and that's crazy.
I'll tell you something as well. Lillian here, without the aid of DRS, is just going to be slower than when Rehards was with them. So that'll kind of play into it as well, losing more time to not only Rehards, but
Surely
also
gotta come in now.
to the likes of Wilson Hall, Alexander Dimas,
No.
as Lillian stays out. Might be trying to stretch it to softs for them.
Bogdan and Leo stay out as well. Wow.
Interesting.
Well.
Gap's down to 12 seconds, 12 and a half. It's basically closing by about a second a lap at this point. We saw something very similar with Jana Wotmir yesterday on a fresher set of intermediate tyres. Was basically catching by about a second a lap. And when he got to the dying embers of a race, and the tyres ended up just wearing away in PCF1 here. I don't know.
It's around a very different circuit though. Imola is a very different circuit to Miami. Yeah.
But even then, it was like the time you gain from going onto a fresh set is brilliant.
Well, we've said this, haven't we? We said how much new tyres affect this year's game. And I know it sounds ridiculous saying that obviously new tyres are better than old ones, but they just seem to be so much better this year. So much better. These guys have had 17 laps on these tyres. They've been on them at the start of the race. The gap is now 10 seconds between Kai and Bogdan, and then there's another 2 seconds up the road to Lillian from these two. As Rahards and Sixton are battling it out for position right now, and they are really going wheel to wheel. Rahards needs to get this move done, and he's gone all the way around the outside to make it done, and that is an important move in the race for Rahards. He's up into 6th place, behind Camille and behind Kai, but a good move indeed.
Yeah, it just goes to show as well. You mentioned that level of grip, and that's only with 2 lap separate tyres. Both same medium compound. Would have been exactly the same 4 laps ago before any driver put it on. Oh.
Lillian, Leo and Bogdan are in, surely mediums from here.
Yeah, you would think. 10 laps. Mediums. Say out
maybe they go... Well, they did. Let's see.
Mediums
are going on. Mediums are going on. All the cars. But the question is, the gap, they're going to fall right to the back of the field. They're going to be last.
Well, there's no time like the present for a cheeky last first challenge for Bogdan, Leo and Lillian, is there? Oh.
Lillian. Oh! My
very
goodness
close there
me.
to Yane. My
Yane,
word.
that was incredibly close. Yane's defending this as well. Yane is not willing to give it up. Around the outside, Lillian goes during the S section. Lillian will be on the charge from here on out. Let's see what pace Lillian really has in that car. Or will it be a Kai Pearson victory here? We've got 10 laps to go. Who's going to come out on top? Make your predictions now, as I assume is what Josh is doing. I'm joking. But Camille and Rahards are now battling it out, and Rahards has made the same move once again round the outside of Camille. Rahards has found a little bit of pace in his Alpine now, and he's right with Kai Pearson. Is this the plan? Is Rahards going to get into the lead and back up the pack like Lillian did previously?
Potentially. I mean, it worked out pretty well for Rehards with strategy, but with Camille coming back and fighting back down the main straight, it's not looking like it's working too grand as Rehards goes back to the inside. Ooh, very late on the brakes there. Very well kept control of the car there in all fairness as well.
He's still there. He won't give it up. And they still battle wheel to wheel. This is not good for Rahards. This is not what he needs at all. He needs to make this move stick. But Camille is in no mood to yield. But he might have to yield now as he goes all the way around the outside. And he's up into 2nd place finally. Sixton looks to get interested in a move as well. But he can't make one stick into the S section. Wow, what a move from Rahards there. That is bold and brave. They've lost a bit of time to Kai Pearson. But he can make that up. He can make that up in a few minutes' time. As how we looking for Lillian? Lillian's still down in 12th place, but a long way to go.
Yeah, exactly. It'll be one of those slow burners. Got the quicker tyres, had the pace in the first stint as well. Lillian should surely be thinking about trying to make overtakes as soon as possible to get that track position, slowly start climbing back up in the points. That'll be one on the McLaren. Nando down to P12. Lillian's now just got to wait and size up Ivan Santamaria down the next straight, get that pass sorted.
Leo's not in DRS yet.
No.
It's not worked out for Leo or Bogdan, that's for sure, so far.
I mean, give it time. Give it time.
But we saw these. Remember, we saw this in Spain. We saw how it worked so well for the Haas car, who went for the strategy. He pitted under the virtual safety car, put on a new set of tyres, and then went again as Rahards has taken the lead of the Miami GP now. And are we going to see this strategy in tow? Is this the plan that Alpine have laid out for their two drivers, or surely Kai will know something's going on? He's got to try and get past Rahards again, because he'll know the other option is being held up and waiting for the incoming Lillian, who's already up into 10th now.
Yeah, I mean, potentially it's just going to be whether Rahards is going to be able to find the places on the track where he can really start holding back the likes of Kai and Camille to try and help Lillian out as much as possible, because I'm not sure whether you noticed, but the gap has built up slightly between the drivers in the pack. We've almost got 2 out of DRS range now as well. They're flirting with it. It's getting to 9/10 of it. It's coming back down. But it's going to be very interesting to sort of see how this one's all going to play out, and it's going to be interesting to sort of see how the roles would have necessarily changed, because it's gone from Lillian being almost in a commanding position in the race with Kai to having, you know, Rahards end up taking over the mantle here, and it's going to have to do a job to sort of help Lillian out as best as possible, because of course they couldn't double stack. They was too close together on track, and it doesn't look like Rahards is sticking around too much either. He's only gained it up to 7
he's sending
tenths.
it. I was going to say, he looks like he was trying to check out a bit from that first sector. He really started to stretch his lead out a bit. Mr. Dimas is also trying to get past Wilson Hall, along with Lillian, trying to get past Matthew Adler. That looked a bit dangerous on our screen, but I don't know exactly how close it was. It looked late indeed, as Wilson Hall and Dimas are going wheel to wheel. Lillian will want to get involved in this battle, and I think they're going to go for the move into turn 1. Will they go for the double overtake into turn 1? It'll be bold, it'll be brave if they can do it, and it looks like Dimas doesn't want to defend it. Can Lillian go around the outside of Dimas, and 2 in 1 corner? That is what Lillian is good at doing. That is why they are possibly the future F3 champion this season. But they are making up moves, and it was absolutely spectacular.
It's simply a miraculous move going down into turn 1 there, getting both the drivers, one on the straight and one into the braking zone, holding it around the outside. Brilliant stuff there from Lillian. I mean, it just goes to show, really, doesn't it? That's the level of quality they have here at PSGL. These drivers are all insanely talented, and to be able to do that to another insanely talented driver, it's just different.
Exactly, and there we go, Lillian straight past Thomas. Not surprised, Thomas is already on late lap old medium tyres. He was the first driver to pit onto the mediums, and Lillian already back into the top 6. So let us see how this one's going to play out now. We're on lap 22 of 29. Only a few laps remaining in this Grand Prix. Can Lillian possibly get back into the lead of this race, with Rahards trying to hold up the best they can? And look at that, Rahards moving over to defend from Kai, but Kai back into the lead of the race. Surely Kai's got to be knowing in the mirrors where that car is, and they'll know they're in 6th place. As Dimas has made a mistake because he dropped 3 places in 1 corner, as Leo's also made up a move. He's up into 8th now. Leo is slowly gaining on the cars in front. Both of the cars in front now don't have DRS either, so Leo needs to regain that DRS quickly, or he's going to lose time out. But this is the real battle. This is the battle we're all paying attention to. The top 6 separated by less than a second, and they are all within a chance of finishing on the podium this afternoon. But the one in 6th place is down the inside. Lopez, what a move! Before the DRS zone, the gap was open, and he went for it, and that's going to compromise Sixton for the next corner, because Lillian's here as well. Is Lillian gonna do it again? Surely gonna put the burners on now to try and at least make the move on one of these cars. Will they go around the outside, or will the door slam shut? It won't slam shut because Lopez dives it down the inside. It's going to compromise Linhart, and it's going to go around the outside for Lillian, and Lillian up into 5th place. That is once again a brilliant overtake, using the cars in front to your advantage and getting up into 5th place, using every trick in the book this afternoon to move up through the gears, and especially move up through the places, as Camille is also going to make a move on 2nd place Rahards. And these two already had quite a battle earlier, and they're all backing out because Kai is braking, and he's made an absolute mess of that braking zone, and I think Camille has as well. And this is all kicked off in one corner, and it's going to allow Andres Lopez to get involved. We've got 4 cars battling for the lead of the race here in Miami.
Three
We're going to go
wide!
3 wide into turn 1. It can't end well, surely. Someone's going to have to give up,
Oh!
but none of them will. And their car's around into the wall. And Kai carries on into the lead. And Lillian's up into second and Camille into third. The cars that failed in that move were Andreas Lopez and once again Rahad's. All went wrong into turn 1. But Lillian's job has just become 10 times easier because a mistake from Kai, a mistake from Camille, and a mistake from Lopez all caused one incident. And unfortunately, Rahad's once again is the unlucky man in battle. But here comes Lillian, and Lillian retakes the lead of the Miami GP. And Camille's there as well. Camille's somehow come out of nowhere, and he's retaken the lead. He's battling with Lillian now as they go wheel to wheel. And Lillian tries to force Camille out wide, and Lillian into the lead of the Miami Grand Prix. Wow, what a number of incidents in one corner. As Camille picks up a 3-second time penalty. What's happened? Everyone's lost their mind in the last 3 corners.
With 5 laps to go as well, it's looking like Lillian could be on for a win here with the fresher tyres. It's just whether
Leo's
the DRS is the
Leo's in
DRS.
fourth.
Is the DRS and are the ERS powerful enough to keep Camille into this fight? And it looks like it certainly is as Camille retakes the lead of a race. As Lillian had a little look down the inside there, but realised it was a silly move. They don't need to make it, they just need to wait their time here. With the fresher tyres, they'll find an opportunity further into this race. It might not be this lap, it might not be next lap, but it'll be certainly one of the following laps where Camille is going to be put under a lot of pressure from Lillian, as Kai is still all over the back of him as well. But commiserations for Rehard and Nando getting caught up in that conflict there. Rehard's here, I believe, might have accidentally had a spin in the last quarter as well. Yeah, it's exactly as I thought. You burn out the rubber on them, you end up overheating the tyres a little bit, and they'll slide for days.
It couldn't have gone worse for them, but it couldn't have gone better. Down the inside, Leo Lund! He's going to make the move on Kai Pearson. He's come out of nowhere because of that incident. Leo is in the hunt for the race victory here this afternoon.
Absolutely.
It looked like it was going to go badly wrong for him, but here comes Kai again. Kai's got more ERS than Leo does, but Leo closes the door. He's going to go around the outside. It's 3 wide again, and all the way around the outside, Leo makes the move stick. He's up into second place. It's a Ferrari 1-2 here at Miami, Josh.
Oh, you shouldn't have said all those horrible things about Ferrari. Oh, once we say that now, and something horrible is going to happen to him. But the drivers are getting so close to
Oh
one
my
another
God.
in that Mickey Mouse section. Let's just have a look at that overtake around the outside one more time. My word, stellar move from Leo there in the Ferrari.
Leo's net race
who's
leader.
also on the same tyre life as Lillian, so it might not be an all she wrote. Lillian and Leo are going to be fine for this one, and Camille knows it. Camille's moved out of the way, and Leo has gone for a move down the inside.
This is Camille's job now. He knows he has one job left because of that 3-second time penalty.
Surely.
No, he won't. Oh, I thought he was going to battle him back. No, surely, Camille, you must know now. You have to hold up the rest. He is. He broke late. He locked his tyres. He knows his job now. Ferrari working together in Formula 1. When have we said that before? And where's it all gone horribly wrong? Camille, once again, defending Lillian hard. Look at Camille go.
Oh, my word.
He's backing up the pack. And there's nothing they can do about it. Leo is driving into the distance, and everyone's saying, "Tara" from Leo. He might have won the Miami GP. And also, Camille's still got DRS. Oh, no, he hasn't. He's lost DRS. He didn't get it. That's going to cost him.
And look at how much they've caught up, even without the DRS. Leo here, trying to defend, trying to make it a 1-2, but Camille just doesn't have a grip there to be able to get the car turned in, rotated around to get that overtake sorted back on Lillian. And now Lillian is right all over the back of Leo again. That gap was almost a second. It was over a second. But Lillian's closed it back up now to 4 tenths. And it's going to keep closing because Leo will not have a DRS from a car in front either. Oh, dear.
Oh, but Camille's there. Camille's still there. Oh, my God. He's going to go for it again. The battery's blowing. Leo's coming it off. Leo's coming off the inside line. There's nothing else they can do. Leo can't fight that one back. The Ferraris have become an absolute machine here in Miami, as Camille still wheel to wheel with Lillian. Goodness me, what has happened in Miami that's caused such chaos on the last couple of laps?
I'll tell you
and
what.
Leo's still in the lead. Leo is still in the lead.
Oh, now Camille Are we going to see it? We're seeing it again already. Lillian's trying to get an overtake sorted as soon as they can. Still on the outside there, I need to remind you. Ends up backing out slightly and knows it's not a place to overtake. It's not on. And Camille backing him up once again. You can see it here, but is Lillian going to go for a dive? No, stays behind. Wants for DRS. Wants to burn the battery as we see a huge slide there from Kai. That's going to put him under pressure. Sixton gets past. Andres Lopez is going to be looking to get past as well. This is exactly what I'm on about. With the older tyres getting just struggling for any form of grip out of these traction zones.
Camille had DRS that time. He didn't lose any positions because they were held up with each other.
Oh,
3 laps to go. But
got
look
a
around the
little
outside. Lillian might be able to do it. No, he's too far back. Oh my goodness me.
Oh, Lillian is going to be trying to find and pick an
Fuming.
opportunity.
It was looking so perfect for Alpine. It was almost an Alpine 1-2. And even with Camille's penalty, it's currently a Ferrari 1-2 on track. It won't be off track. But can it still finish it with a Ferrari win? I don't know how to call this race anymore. It was all looking so perfect for everyone. And it all went chaotic on lap 25. We're on to lap 28 now. We're on the penultimate lap of the Miami GP. And we're 2 laps away from a historic win for Ferrari. Their first win in Miami. Josh is currently biting his nails if this was real life.
And then this would also mean, if our stats are correct, that Leo Lund would win the championship by fortune of just winning the Miami Grand Prix. Because
that is how it works.
Yeah,
yes.
Max Verstappen won it. He won a championship, so Leo can.
Can Camille hold him up here? Camille needs to hold Lillian up again and still remain within DRS. And he's doing such a good job of it. This is exactly how teammates should work together. And that DRS line meant Camille hold on to DRS. Leo has got a teammate he can thank and look after for the rest of time. As surely right now, it's looking dreadful for Lillian. And it's but Camille might have made a horrendous mistake, but he held it so well.
Just parking it on the apex there as well, so Lillian can't even carry the momentum around where Camille's lost for time, and it'll be all reset over these horrible bumps before getting the car straightened back up here for this main straight once again.
Oh, yellow flag. Demas is out. Demas and Wilson Hall are out in the middle sector. Something's happened under the bridge. It's all kicked off, and we're on to the final lap now. Camille is in second. Leo is in third. Thought Camille was diving up the inside there for a second. That would have been an absolute tragic idea. But here we go. We're on to the final lap of the Miami GP here in PSGL F3. There is nothing left for Lillian to do except go for the bold and brave decisions. Camille.
No. Camille's overtook Leo, and Leo's going to back it up by 3 seconds. I can see it coming.
Oh my God. Have they done it? A Ferrari done an unthinkable decision?
Have they
They've swapped their places.
Have Ferrari blundered a strategy?
Oh, no, because he switches down the inside. It cost Lillian. Lillian didn't see it coming. And now there's an opportunity for Sixton as well. It's all kicked off on the final lap. Down the main straight, the final opportunity. Here comes Camille. Here comes Leo. Oh, into the wall. And somehow they've kept it out of each other. But Leo's messed it up on the last lap. Ferrari have done it again. They've screwed themselves on a last opportunity. And Josh's face is a picture right now. You can't see it. But goodness me, Ferrari, you had one job and you couldn't keep it going. And now Camille will lose that P1. And Lillian will somehow walk away with a victory here. Yellow flag in Sector 1. It's for Rahad. And Leo again is denied what could have been a grandiose victory. As Camille pushes as much as he can, but there's nothing left to do as Camille loses the lead on the last lap, and Lillian will cross the line to win here in Miami. Camille will finish on track in second, but Sixton will take second. Lopez takes third, Pearson in fourth, Bogdan in fifth, Leo in sixth, Santamaria in seventh, Thomas in eighth, Camille in ninth, and Matthew Adler rounds out your top 10. But what happened on that final lap of the race? And why did Camille do what he did? And Leo, Leo, it almost was so perfect. And once again, Lillian scratches and claws and comes away with a victory in Miami.
I'd look at replay there as well. Leo saw car was on the inside, tries to turn across to cover it off, but the overspeed the car had behind Leo, it's unfortunate. It's so unfortunate. Well, I feel like Rio summed it up best. Average Ferrari strategy. It was all going so well until it wasn't. I mean, to be fair to him, absolutely brilliant work. Found themselves in a great position, but a couple mishaps here and there, and it all came undone. It's so unfortunate for them. But Lillian, brilliant race, really well driven. Ended up completing a 25% race start to finish, I guess.
Yeah, Leo obviously not that happy about stuff's going on. Lillian,
Yes.
I don't think a lot of people are happy about certain moves or certain things that happened.
Drive through the day, though.
Drive of the day, Leo. It won't be too much of a consolation for him. But that is how your race ends. It ends once again with Lillian as your winner. And it ends, I think, with who finished second in the end? Linhart finished second.
Yes.
Followed by Andreas Lopez, I believe, was your top three. But Josh, I know you won't be able to do interviews today.
No, unfortunately not. No,
because you have to go somewhere. But we'll play it one more time for you. You know, when I'm going traveling, you know what I like to sit in?
a chair.
A chair. And you know what kind of chair I think is the best?
Is it one with a sim rig
Sit in.
on?
It is one with sim rig, and it's called a GTO Mega Gaming chair.
And we're back.
We're back.
I told you Miami always delivers, Alex. What can I say?
Well, it turns out it did. Of course, it's chaotic as always. So, we have 2 rounds left to go in the season. We have Great Britain and we have Bahrain. Lillian, I think, with that victory, gets within a whisker of the World Championship.
Yes.
We will find out next week. Next Thursday, we're back. Same time, same place, same commentators. But we're not in Miami anymore. We head back across the pond to Silverstone for the penultimate round of F3. Josh, thank you. It's been great. It's a good fun race. I know you got to rush off somewhere.
Yes.
So we'll call it for today.
Yes.
Thank you all very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye. Wait.
Wait.
Do you want to know a fact?
Yeah.
Ferrari still haven't won around Miami. And with that bombshell, bye guys.
With that.
Desperately trying to hang on. He's got the inside. All here is through on the left hand side. Pumps the apex, gets on the power nicely, and that is job done. Jarno Opmeer now to the last couple of corners now. His finest drive, his greatest drive, and he's done it at the Circuit of the Americas. He returns to the top step of the podium once again. The GOAT is back. Jarno Opmeer wins the